light carving through the saltbox house's narrow windows. The men moved through the dwelling with military efficiency. Liam listened as they rounded up the others in his family from the front of the house, mother and father and Megan and Kate, and pushed them into the back bedroom he shared with his brothers. He watched the scene unfold through the crack in the closet door as his parents and siblings were lined up in front of the bed along the far wall. He could read the confusion in their faces, expressions of fear and shock, mixing with the disorientation of being ripped so abruptly from deep slumber. Only his father's face reflected comprehension. Gavin glanced briefly at the closet door and gave a nearly imperceptible shake. Liam fought the urge to emerge from hiding to join his family. The tallest of the intruders stepped forward and addressed Liam's father. "Gavin Kilbranish," he said. It sounded as though he was pronouncing a verdict. "You know who I am?" Liam's father nodded slowly. His expression didn't change. "Then you know why we're here." Gavin nodded again. The man stepped back and turned to one of the others. "He's yours if you want him, lad." The second man walked over to Liam's father, unslung his gun, and drove the butt into Gavin's stomach, doubling him over. Then he swung it upward, connecting with his jaw, and Liam's father crumpled to his knees. He was on all fours, spitting blood into the cracks between the scarred floorboards. It was the first time Liam had ever seen his father at the mercy of another human being. The second man knelt before him and produced a small, weathered book of snapshots. Opening it, he held up a picture of a hard-bitten, middle-aged man. "My da," he said. He drove a fist into Gavin's nose. The sound of cartilage snapping was loud, and Liam was afraid he might be sick. The man flipped a page and held up a new picture, this one of a younger man. A shadow of the previous face remained. "My brother, William," the man said. The words still hung in the air as he cracked the butt of his gun down over Gavin's head. His scalp split, and blood flooded forward over Liam's father's face. A new page was flipped, revealing the image of a young woman. "My wife, Anna." The man stood and kicked Gavin hard in the ribs, drawing a wheeze and a grunt. Gavin's spit was now a frightening mixture of blood and mucus. The man stepped back and turned to a final picture that showed the angelic face of a young girl. She couldn't have been more than 5, and her gap-toothed smile seemed at once joyous and mournful. The man pulled a black pistol from underneath his coat and pointed it into Gavin's face. Gavin rose up on his knees and looked back at the man. He showed neither panic nor fear, only hatred and defiance. The man in front of him had both hands out now, one pointing the gun at Gavin's head, the other clutching knuckle-white to the picture of the girl. "My daughter, Catherine," he said. His voice cracked with unredeemed rage as he said her name. He pulled the trigger. The screaming lasted for only a moment, and it was drowned out by the thunder of gunfire. Liam's mother and 4 siblings jumped and danced as the bullets shredded their bodies. They fell over each other in their attempt to twist free, toppling onto the bed behind them, settling and then sliding onto the floor, leaving the sheets stained red. At last there was silence. 2 of the men dressed in black moved forward, nudging the bodies with their toes to make sure the family was dead. After a moment, Liam heard a choked sob from the man with the pistol who had killed his father. The tallest of the group, the leader, Liam assumed, slapped him. "We'll have none of that shite," he said. "Bastard had it coming. He knew it. And his wife? His children? It's war. Did he show pity to your family? Besides, do you think this would have ended it for them? It won't be ended until they're all dead, or we are. Which would you have?" One of the other men stepped back from the bodies. "It's ended for these now," he said indifferently. "All done for. Good enough." "Good enough," the leader acknowledged. Then they were gone. Liam stayed in the closet until the military came. The police wouldn't enter the Catholic neighborhoods anymore. It was too dangerous. The armored vehicles rolled in, and squads of soldiers in riot gear cordoned off the area, enduring the taunts and jeers from the crowds that had gathered